Let's now turn our attention to the lost kingdom of Kush, Egypt's forgotten rival. The sands of time often bury entire civilizations, leaving only faint traces of their existence. Today, we journey into the heart of Africa to uncover the enigmatic Kingdom of Kush, a powerful empire that flourished in the shadows of Egypt, eclipsed yet extraordinary. Who were these people who dared to challenge the mighty pharaohs? What secrets lie buried beneath their forgotten pyramids? Let the whispers of history guide us as we resurrect a story long shrouded in mystery. This is the tale of Kush, Egypt's forgotten rival. Nestled along the southern stretches of the Nile River, in what is now Sudan, lay the cradle of the Kingdom of Kush. The Nile was both a lifeline and a stage for ancient African civilizations. While Egypt claimed the spotlight, further upriver, Kush quietly rose, flourishing in the fertile corridor of Nubia. Emerging as early as 2000 BCE, Kush gathered strength through its abundant natural resources. Gold, ivory, and ebony made it a hub for trade. Its early identity intertwined with Egypt, a land from which it borrowed hieroglyphs, religious ideas, and architectural inspiration. But to see Kush as merely a reflection of Egypt would be a mistake. Beneath the shared influences beat a fiercely independent heart. What forged this kingdom? Was it the lure of gold hidden in Nubian hills? Or the strategic might of controlling river passages? Kush wasn't merely surviving, it was thriving, creating a cultural identity that blended Egyptian grandeur with distinct African innovations. By 1500 BCE, Kush had become much more than a southern neighbor to Egypt. It was a competitor. Egyptian pharaohs knew this and often turned to violence to suppress the growing power of Kush. Conquests by Egyptian rulers like Thutmose III left Kush temporarily subdued, but never defeated. While under Egypt's thumb, something fascinating happened. Kush began to absorb and adapt Egyptian traditions. Their gods were blended into Kushite religious practices. Kushite artisans mimicked Egyptian styles, yet infused them with distinct local creativity. But the spirit of Kush was indomitable. As Egypt descended into periods of internal strife, Kush surged back. This small yet industrious kingdom was no longer just a vassal state. It became a cultural powerhouse, crafting a legacy of its own. The Nile belongs just as much to Kush as it does to Egypt. Between 1070 and 750 BCE, while Egypt languished in disarray, Kush entered one of its most formidable periods, the Napatan era. One name shines brightly in this era: King Meroë. Meroë united Nubia and launched an audacious campaign against Egypt, eventually seizing it and declaring himself pharaoh around 747 BCE. Astonishingly, Kush ruled Egypt during its 25th dynasty, also known as the Kushite dynasty. Kushite pharaohs like Meroë and his successor Shabaka weren't just conquerors, they were visionaries. They restored ancient Egyptian temples and revived crumbling traditions, blending Egyptian grandeur with Nubian pride. Imagine the audacity. Southern outsiders, not only seizing the throne of Egypt, but commanding the heart of its culture. Kush wasn't simply Egypt's rival, it was its redeemer. While the Kushite kings secured their place in history, another equally remarkable phenomenon emerged: the Kandakis, or queens of Kush. These queens weren't mere consorts or figureheads. They were warriors, diplomats, and rulers in their own right. Historians paint vivid portraits of women like Amanirinas, a Kandake, who fiercely resisted Roman incursions into her lands. Accounts suggest she led her army into battle, even after losing an eye to the enemy. Her leadership ensured that Kush, unlike many kingdoms, never bowed to Rome. Her story speaks to a society willing to embrace female power, blending ferocity with wisdom. Who were these Kandakes? How did they rise to such prominence in a male-dominated ancient world? Their stories remain a testament to Kush's dynamic culture, where leadership wasn't confined by gender. While Egypt is synonymous with pyramids, Kush built its own, albeit smaller and steeper structures. Located in places like Meroë, these pyramids mark the graves of Kushite kings, queens, and noble elites. As you wander among their remains today, their triangular silhouettes stand as eerie reminders of a lost golden age. The Kingdom of Kush wasn't just an imitator of Egypt. Its innovations flourished on its own course. Meroë, the capital during Kush's peak, was a remarkable urban center filled with palaces, temples, and a bustling iron industry. Dubbed the Island of Meroë due to its fertile surroundings, it became a beacon of wealth and ingenuity. Traveler accounts describe Meroë as a marvel of the ancient world, a city that married luxury with spirituality. Religion thrived in this era. Temples to gods like Amun dotted the landscape, blending Egyptian and African spiritual practices. Yet as prosperous as Kush became, its downfall was inevitable, signaling history's cruel hand. By the 4th century CE, the lights of Kush dimmed. What brought this mighty kingdom to its knees? Scholars point to several culprits. The shifting trade routes bypassed Kush's strongholds, depriving it of lifeblood commerce. Furthermore, environmental changes likely turned the fertile Nile plains into arid lands, making survival increasingly difficult. However, Kush didn't vanish without a fight. The kingdom's fierce clashes with the Roman Empire stand as testimonies to its resilience. In one notable episode during Queen Amanirena's reign, Kush launched a successful counterstrike against Roman Egypt, even taking a bronze head of Emperor Augustus as war booty. As time moved forward, fewer mentions of Kush remained in the ancient record. Its monuments, once teeming with life, were consumed by sand. Yet even in its twilight, Kush's essence lingered, seeping quietly into the history of Africa and beyond. For centuries, the Kingdom of Kush was a forgotten whisper. It wasn't until modern archaeology stepped in that its brilliance was unveiled. The rediscovery of Nubian pyramids by European explorers in the 19th century sparked intrigue, but also raised questions. Compared to Egypt, why are the Kushite pyramids steeper? What secrets do their inscriptions hold? Many remain untranslated, shrouding Kush's story in mystery. And then there's the question of their unexplored tombs. Were they plundered by ancient thieves, or are their treasures still buried beneath the unforgiving sands? Each excavation at sites like Meroë reveals new artifacts, breathing life into a kingdom historians once overlooked. Today, Kush stands as more than a relic. It's a symbol of African resilience, creativity, and power. The figures of Kandakis, the pyramids of Nubia, and the unbowed cities like Meroë remind us of a culture that challenged and at times eclipsed Egypt itself. In the face of neglect, there have been renewed efforts to protect the ruins of Kush. Organizations and historians strive to ensure that its memory stays alive, not only as a chapter of African history, but as one of the world's great civilizations. Kush tells us that history isn't just written by the victors. It's in the soil, the ruins, and the echoes waiting to be heard. As we stand among the sands of Nubia, gazing at the pyramids overlooked by time, we realize that the story of Kush isn't about defeat or obscurity. It's about persistence, creativity, and a legacy that refuses to fade. Egypt wasn't alone in its brilliance. The Kingdom of Kush was a vibrant partner and, at times, a formidable adversary. Its story is a reminder of the vast interconnected web that shaped our world and of the enduring human desire to create, to fight, and to transcend. Take one last look at the Nubian desert as the sun sets behind Kushite pyramids. Can you hear the whispers of history? This is a story still unfolding, a tale of triumph and mystery waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look beyond. If you're fascinated by forgotten empires, lost knowledge, and civilizations that defy explanation, then make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there are still more mysteries waiting to be unraveled.